Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Author, leadership, and team development speaker Joe Woodley coming to you with another key moments for faith. And I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to join me on today's broadcast. Today, I want to talk to you about walking in love. Walking in love. Wow, that's a really tough topic, particularly with a lot of what's going on in the media today. Before we get into today's topic, I want to make sure that you take the time to subscribe to this channel. Click that button there at the bottom of this screen. Become a follower. You'll get the latest and greatest news and information, and you'll be able to see some of the wonderful interviews I have coming up with powerful men and women of God who are making a difference here in this world. Additionally, you go down to the bottom of the screen, you can find some inspirational, aspirational, and empowering resources that are certain to help you on this journey we call life. So, what are we talking about here today? We're talking about walking in love. Man, that's a tough topic because I'm telling you what, there was so much hatred in this world. Every time you turn on the news, when you open up a newspaper, when you look on social media, when you get those little feeds in your email about what's happening in the world around you, it is clearly evident that the world is full of hatred and corruption. It is far easier to hate people than it is to love them. It's far easier to betray people and to lie on people and to be deceptive and to be untrustworthy than it is to love one another. But that is exactly what God is calling us to do. That is exactly what Jesus commanded us to do here in scriptures, is to love those who hate you, to love those who don't like you, to love those who speak evil against you. How easy is it to love the most lovable? How easy is it to love people who agree with you about everything and anything? How easy is it to love people who cheer for you all the time and talk about how wonderful you are and how fantastic you are? How easy is it to love people in those positions? And what Jesus is saying is the true act of faith, the true act of love is learning to love people who you don't like. Learning to love people who seem to be almost unlovable. And as I'm getting ready to read here in Matthew, the 5th chapter, you're going to find out that there's a reason why we're commanded to love the unlovable or those who seem to be unlovable. There's a reason why we're commanded to extend ourselves beyond our feelings and exhibit the character of God, particularly to those who don't exhibit the character of God. So I'm going to read here for you guys really quickly Matthew, the 5th chapter, starting from the 43rd verse. And this is Jesus speaking, and he says, "You have heard it said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be the children of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on those who are evil and on those who are good, and makes the rain fall on the righteous and the unrighteous." The King James Version says the just and the unjust. "For if you love only those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do that? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing? Do not even the Gentiles do that? You therefore will be perfect." This is the Amplified Version, so I'm going to fill this in here. "Growing into spiritual maturity, both in mind and character, actively integrating godly values into your daily life as your Heavenly Father is perfect." So why do we love those who hate us and despise us? Well, it says very clearly here in these scriptures, because God loved us even while we were in our mess, even when we were doing wrong, even when we were lying and deceitful, even when we were hateful, even when we were appeared to be unlovable, and even when we were doing things that we had no business doing. You know, Jesus said, if you love me, you'll do what? You'll keep my commandments. So clearly, because we were not following the commandments of God and we were doing our own things and we were living reprobate lives, we were not demonstrating that we loved the Father. And yet and still he loved us. While we were out living these reprobate and ungodly lives, he still loved us. He still extended his hand toward us. He still extended his grace toward us. And what he's saying is, I had did that for you even before you knew me. I did that for you even when you hated my guts, because there are people who are watching this video who hated God and who did not have high regard for God. He said, I still extended my grace towards you, and I brought you into the fold. Now I expect you to do likewise to those who hate you. I expect you to do likewise to those who seem to be unlovable and unlikable and uncaring. I expect you to do the same for others who may hate you. Why? Because it's about going beyond how you feel and extending the love of God, demonstrating the character of God, being who he called you to be toward those who are lost, welcoming them into the fold, letting them know that God does indeed love them. And how do we demonstrate that? By showing them love. Doesn't mean that you agree with them. See, we think that love means agreeing with someone and liking them and enjoying spending time with them, and you just can't get enough of them. No, he's saying here very clearly, that's easy to do. That's real easy. You guys love to brag about how much you love people. But I want to see you love on some people that don't like you. I want to see you love on people who are oppressing you. I want to see you loving on people who despise you. I want to see you loving on people who say all types of evil things about you. If you do that, that is a true act of faith. Now, that does not mean that you're weak. That does not mean that you are being stupid or ignorant. It's quite the opposite. What he's saying is that what you're doing is you are being the hands and feet of Christ here in the earth. And so I'm going to challenge those of you who are watching today's show. This is not going to be a long broadcast because we know there's a whole lot that's going on. This city right now is under a curfew, it's under lockdown right now because of all the stuff that's going on, all the hatred that's happening right now, even in this city. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to pray, all of you out there who are believers, I want you to join with me in praying that whatever hatred is in your heart, that God will remove it. I don't care what side of the issue, whatever issue you are on, I can really care less. We need to get that hate out of our hearts, and we need to begin to act on the character of Christ. Demonstrate the love and the light of God here in the earth every single day. So I'm going to pray that you guys will join with me in committing to loving those who appear to be unlovable and unlikable. And even if it just touches one life, it's more than worthwhile. That we will extend ourselves beyond our preconceived prejudices and our personal boundaries and our fortresses that we have put up around ourselves to sort of protect ourselves. I want to take those things down. It's okay to have boundaries in your life. It's important to have boundaries. But we need to learn to love somebody and love people who don't love us. And maybe, just maybe, somebody's life will be changed when we extend the same love and grace that was extended toward us. God bless you guys. I'm author, leadership, and team development speaker Joe Woodley. This is Key Moments for Faith. Don't forget to subscribe down below. I'm looking forward to connecting with you again here very, very soon. God bless you.